Hello and welcome to the Mysticast, where you join Jack Stafford and Deborah Littleboy, members of the Aetherius Society, the cosmic religion for the Aquarian age, as we break down the barriers between religion, science, metaphysics, philosophy, and mysticism, all of which are really only aspects of the self-same quest for truth. Please note, this is an independent program not produced or fact-checked by the Aetherius Society. Today, our guest is Laura Lee. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Jack. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Where are you in the world or above the world?
I am near Chicagoland area. Well, I'm in the Chicagoland area, I should say, which is vast.
And this is nothing new to you. You're a regular on radio, podcast, TV, as the psychic medium. And today we want to talk to you about who or what is a spirit guide and how can we contact them. I'm sure you've been asked this many times. What's an answer you usually give?
Spirit guides are incarnated spirits that at one point could have lived and sometimes not, but they're here to guide us on our lives and to make life a little bit easier if we are open and receptive to their guidance in our lives. And when we are, miracles happen.
So what kind of guides have you worked with?
Well, I had a transcendental experience at a very young age that started me down this path. So first of all, as a psychic medium, I've had the ability to have contact with spirits since as long as I remember, and feeling them and seeing them and hearing them. And quite honestly, it was very, very frightening for me. And I tried to hide from it. And as a little child, I would put the blankets over my head and, make a little peephole so I could breathe. Like the
Sixth Sense movie or something like that, I'm thinking.
Yes. And tried to pretend I was dead, believe it or not, so that the dead wouldn't contact me. Okay. So, but
they wouldn't fool them.
We hear this with a lot of children. Children are wide open vessels for spirit. And a lot of them are dismissed. It wasn't that I was so much dismissed, but I did grow up in the Bible Belt pretty much. And I was very much part of the church community at the time. And I remember, trying to share my experiences with certain people and adult figures. And I was told to keep quiet, because of how it looked in our community. And it was blasphemous in the church to have such experiences. So I tried to shut it down even more as a child. And then I got involved with a neighbor who moved into town, who was this kind of a little short story, who I looked up to and listened to her guidance. She handed me a pill one day and said that the pill would help me be more attractive to boys. I didn't care about boys at the time, but what did I know? She knew, and she was older, so I took the pill. It was a diet pill. And she started giving me those. I started popping them like candy. And before I know, I have an eating disorder that grows out of control. And I think that really suppressed my experiences with spirit, because addictions do that. When we have emotions that we can't deal with and that are very difficult, we'll try to find ways to not deal with them. And so I got carried away with the eating disorder. 10 years passed. I was only 9 when that started. And about 10 years passed, I'm in college. And
I've heard a lot of people, like my spiritual teacher, he said that it does really affect you when people say, stop, you can't see people, stop, you're not seeing dead people, just stop.
Right.
It really affected him, and he had to relearn it at a later age too, because he'd see people, he'd see someone's grandma standing beside them. And even when there were people telling, people, even though he could see the grandma, people could say it affects you.
And I always say, Jack, it's supernatural. for all of us to have those experiences. And you know, as I open up and share this with so many people, they'll tell me they've had those experiences, but we're fearful of talking about it, and we need to have a conversation about it. So about the age of my freshman year, I am, you know, I am eaten alive by this eating disorder, and it was very difficult for me to deal with. And I just wanted away from it. I wanted it lifted from me. And one night was alone in my dormitory room. I didn't go out. I also was a bulimic at the time. So I was having my bulimic episode that night, and I collapsed, feeling like I had a heart attack on the floor. I'm just clenched up in a ball, praying, crying. I'll do anything, sobbing. I will do anything. Just lift this from me. I was praying to God. I asked for help. Next thing I know, I am being totally lifted out of this darkness towards this light. And I see a humongous angel. I mean, beautiful. And we were in the stars, the galaxy, like my background, which I didn't even know how I accessed that. So, and it's as if all I knew and felt from her was unconditional love. Just love. And I was suspended in that love with her. And in that moment, and everything else transcended. It was as if we were amongst the stars. And she communicated with me, but not the way you and I would talk, but in whole concepts and through a telepathic way where I just knew, and from what she was emanating with me, I was loved. And that's all there is. That is it. Okay. And we as humans get in the way of that love, and fear is what veils us from that experience of that love. And so that anybody who is causing that fear among us is because they've lost connection with the greater, higher good, the higher power that is within all of us. And so anyway, she told me that she came and she was going to help me heal, and that I would just have to follow her, and I was going to go back and I would speak about this. And I didn't know whether at the time that meant to be a psychic medium. I didn't even know what that was. And I came out of it, and I went and got help. I went to the doctors. I had to leave school for a period of time. But the most profound thing is when I got back to school, one of my girlfriends handed me a book by Leo Buscaglia, Love. He wrote the book Love. You can look it up. It's one of my favorite books I've carried for years. He was a professor out in California, taught a class on it. And it was a sign to me. It was a validation that my answer had been called by the angels. And so the angels have been my biggest guide, my angel.
That's a beautiful story, Amy. You're at your darkest moment, but then you see the greatest light.
Yeah. And our life is the biggest miracle, our lives. And that's hard for a lot of people to recognize when it's such a heavy time and it's such a heavy world. And
it's good you mentioned fear there, because bravery is the first freedom in our teachings, that you need bravery on the step to spiritual advancement. It doesn't seem like something that springs to mind. You think love, it's in there as well as service, but bravery is the first step.
It is. And going out and speaking about it and was not good to begin with. You know, I was told that didn't happen. And, when I started telling my friends about the experience I had with the angel, they asked what I was on. And I wasn't on anything at that time. I pretty much had an experience that was just flipped me upside down and started to see the world differently.
Yeah. Before I joined the Aetherius Society, I didn't know about the other realms, and that really helped me understand that, that we live in frequency and vibration, and consciousness exists at different frequencies. So when you die, you go to another realm, which is right here, just a different frequency.
Yes, it is. Yes, you got it.
And so each chakra is a realm of consciousness, and as you go to higher realms, they're harder for us mortals to get. But and there are lower realms as well. But right here, the hells are right here.
Hell and heaven are right here. Yes, absolutely. And that's what I tell everybody. And, you know, one of the best ways I tell my students and my clients to raise their energy is hug. Just hug. 4 times a day is just getting by, but 12 hugs a day is thriving for humans, according to Dr. Kubler-Ross. And I think she was right.
Yeah. So. Hug to happiness. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Well, let me bring in Deborah here because she's been in contact.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing that struck me as you were speaking, Laura, is the fact that you weren't just made well. You had to do some practical things to make yourself come back into balance, to bring those vibrations back into balance, because you've been bent completely out of shape for many years, with denial and all those things, all those horrible things that come from addiction or habits that have gone wrong. But the angel didn't make you well and then suddenly you were playing harps. No, you had to go to the doctor. No, you had to resort your life, but you knew where you were going. So it was almost like your focus, what your messenger, your angel messenger gave you, is what I'm hearing, is that focus, that strength to actually pull yourself back into shape.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We're told in our teachings that we take one step towards God, to the higher vibrationary rates, and then God, the higher vibrationary rates, can take 2 steps towards you. So in other words, you send out that energy, you ask for help, you surrender yourself to that, which means that you've got rid of stuff, which gives space for this higher energy to come in, which gives you the strength to take the next step.
I've got to add to that. And you're right, exactly. And that's something I share with my audience and my groups, is that you have to receive it. You have to be open to receive it. You have to know that you're worth it, to receive it. So at the first time in my life, I said it. I am bulimic, I'm anorexic, and they saw it, and they gave me the right programs and tools and resources, and I took them because I was ready. But the person has to be ready. The person has to be ready. They have got to want it. Nobody else has got to want it for them. They've got to want it for themselves. And so you're absolutely right. It is a relationship with the higher power. It isn't just receiving. A lot of people think they're going to sit in meditation and receive the major aha, but it's the day-to-day is the walking meditation every day.
So
every thought, every action. Sorry, Jack, talking over you.
Yeah, after having a near-death experience, what happens? Do you think we die, or is it just leaving the body?
Oh, gosh, no. No. I think death is a myth. It's the cycle of life. We continue onward. And like you said, heaven is right here. Earth is, earth is this present moment is all there is. Heaven and hell exist right here. We can walk among earth in a hell and live it every day. I was walking in a hell, okay? And there's many people walking in hell among us that are walking around like zombies. And there are also people who are living in a higher state of grace. How is it that people are walking in that higher state of grace? It does take participation. It does take a little bit work on yourself to actively engage with it and not allow some of the heavy stuff to really take you down. Stay away from phones. That's the first thing, Try to limit it as much as possible, especially the news.
Drugs. Yeah.
The news feed. And not to say that you can't be out of touch of what's happening around the world. I certainly am.
But raise your vibration, like Deborah said. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Because some people, they don't realize that spirit guides are just their people. They're ordinary people who've passed on, who are on the other realms. But
yes.
They're they could be of a lower intelligence than you.
They can, and I think they come, they could definitely be dearly departed. They can definitely be angels. They can be historic figures that we're attracted to. Let's say you really love and appreciate Gandhi's teachings, and Gandhi could be a spirit because we're all one. We're all one. So we embody that within all of us because it's part of our DNA. It's part of the higher power. It's all within our cellular being.
So how does mediumship work for you? Because as I understand it, you get people on your level. It's like I can have a conversation with you but if we were talking about astrophysics or something like that, I couldn't understand what you're saying. So you get someone on your level of consciousness.
When I open myself up, especially let's say on radio. I've been on radio for 20 years answering callers, which I think Deborah found me on Coast to Coast, right?
Yeah.
I just open myself as a vessel, and whoever's ready will call.
Yeah.
Not to say all of them. Not to say all of them are ready, and there are a lot of people out there who believe people like myself are, I don't know. That's not my problem. It's not my job to make people believe. My job is just to, if I can reach somebody and help them, find hope or closure, or help them make a better decision in their life for their higher good. That's all I ask for, and I can bring that information through to help them. God bless. That's what I look to do.
Our master, Dr. King, he was a master of yoga, so he did yoga for 10 years, intense training. He could project from the body to the other realms, but he practiced positive trance mediumship. So he would go into trance, but not a negative trance where you're just opening the door and letting someone use your voice box or whatever. But
Yes.
So he would focus on a beam, hold that, bring that in, and then the Master Jesus, masters from other worlds, these are beyond descended masters. They could speak to him because he rose his consciousness to such a high level that they could use him. Otherwise, if they couldn't get it through ordinary people, but I don't know why, if they would fry the circuits or they would just not be able to tune in. But that's what I was saying about you get people on your level.
I think some people might feel scared of that. I have a lot of students that I teach, and I think they don't feel worthy to have contact with beings. Although I have had students that feel guided by, let's say, ascended masters such as Christ.
Maybe it's so difficult to get it through. Have you ever tried to get a message through to someone? Have you tried to use someone on like another realm, or maybe the lower astral realms, to get a message through to other people on that realm?
Oh yeah, that's what psychic mediums do. So yeah. And I did read about your teacher, and I've been a practicing and teacher of yoga for 20 years as well. And so yes, it does help with your state of elevation and your energy levels to reach higher consciousness for sure. I highly recommend yoga as a practice to anybody out there who's looking to evolve and reach higher states.
I think he was doing mantra and pranayama though, not actual asanas.
Yes, yeah,
yoga practices.
Yeah.
Because when he tried to get a message through to people on the lower realms, so he'd use a medium, but on the lower realms, he said it just got through. He'd get through maybe 20% of the message he was trying to get through, and the rest was the medium.
Well, as mediums, we put out there whatever we receive, and we just trust it. I'll just tell you a quick story. I was at a venue and a large family was sitting there, and the mother came through with a message for all of them, and the eldest daughter was there. I told her her mother said that she was passing her the crown as the matriarch in the family. And she was just like, she was the skeptic one of the group. And I kept going back to her to say, I receive that it's a crown specifically, and that you hold it. She's like, oh, okay, okay. But the rest of them felt really touched by whatever I shared with them. After that evening, they went home, and the kids had been babysitted by another elder who took the kids to Burger King. And one of the kids bebopped in there and put the crown, the Burger King crown on top of their mom's head. And she wept. She wept and immediately wrote me a message saying, I get it now. So, I mean, the idea of sending messages to people, it's elusive to them. The biggest message is love, I love you, and sending that message of love, but they don't hear it. People have trouble even receiving that, even here on the physical plane. Again, I think we're so barraged with media, leaders in our own life, people who we give power to that aren't for our higher good, that can stray us from actually being open and receptive to the guidance that is right for us. Maybe not right for, Deborah, or right for you, Jack, but maybe is right for me specifically. And that's where we've got to learn to trust it, because, the pack might be saying, well, this is the way I want to go. This is where we're going. And you really got to honor your heart. And that's the bravery. That's not right for me right now. This is what I need to do at the moment for myself, and to honor and respect that, your own personal guidance.
Can I jump in just and ask a question on that sort of the mechanics of it, Laura? Do you hear? Do you see? Do you feel? How, or is it a combination? How do the messages come through to you?
It's a combo, for sure, Deborah. Just like humans, I think they're a little different on the other side too, in the sense that some of them are more visual, some of them are more auditory, some of them impress feeling more so than others. But I tap into all the tools. Like I said, since I was a little child, I could see them, I could smell them, I could smell their breath if they had alcohol or smoked. When I got well and I started getting stronger physically, my gifts returned more powerfully. So the more we take care of ourselves, the more we take care of our temple, our body's a temple, the stronger those connections are going to be for us with our spirit guides, who are here to guide us and help us. 99.99% of the time, it's benevolent. It's all in love and support.
And so if you get a spirit come through that is not vibrating at that, what do you do to protect yourself and the people that they're trying to get the message through to, if that's ever happened?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. The biggest thing that I can say is that when somebody's really caught up by, let's say, something that's not serving for their higher good or for the higher good of all, they're harming themselves, they're harming other people. I'm going to say it, but the biggest one out there right now who's lost his way is Mr. Putin. I'm going to say it. Okay? He would not be causing harm upon other people. He's causing harm upon himself. So if you want to edit that out, you can. But, I mean, if somebody is caught in a lower realm and I was harming myself, and I was told I am loved, I am okay, I'm perfect the way I am. Embrace your gifts, embrace who you are, love yourself wholly. All right. The warts and all, you're perfect.
Yeah.
And so, grabbing for something that is that's a power grab what he's doing. Okay. So people who have fallen in those states sometimes can't recognize it, and they might need more help even from Western medicine. And that's okay, because to me, I think use all the tools and resources that you have accessible to you, because God, or the higher power, whatever you want to call it, is in everything. And the resources will be given to you. So be open and receptive to what comes to you for that support and help.
Thank you. Do you, I don't know whether you do or not, do you run schools for people that want to develop their psychic abilities? Is that something that you support people with?
Oh, yes, 100%. So I tell even people that I speak to in audiences, just go to who resonates with you, who you feel connection to. I have a mentorship program, and I just, open myself when the student is ready. The teacher will appear. So the students I work with have been working with me for a long time, from some year to 20 years. So to open up their gifts, and it doesn't mean that they're trying to be a psychic medium. They're using the gift and the ability to channel in whatever area of life they feel called to use it in, whether it's to be a doctor, whether it's to be, a businessman on Wall Street. I've had them. To be a therapist, tapping into their higher realm to not only support themselves, but to support the people around them in the best way that they can to serve.
Excellent. That was where I was coming from, really, because we are taught within the teachers of the Aetherius Society that we have to have a discipline to take the habitual, not nourishing habits and raise the vibrations to make this temple as pure a channel as possible. And
Yes.
the main thing that we're told is to bring in this pranic energy, universal life force. The easiest way to do it is by breathing correctly. So that's one of our basics, that we have a set of 6 breathing exercises.
Yes.
And we follow that on with things like Sanskrit mantra, where we're reciting these sacred sounds that again bring our vibrations, bring our body back into balance. But these are like basics, bread and butter stuff to make sure that we stay and carry on gradually weeding out these or changing the vibrations. Is that something that you would endorse when you're speaking to your
Yes, I get them immediately into a meditation practice. Meditate. And the other thing I recommend is the basics. My basics are just the basics: getting your rest that your body needs, getting exercise, getting a social life around people who lift you up. Very simple, okay? And eating nutritious food that empowers you and makes you feel good. So everything is about, if you don't love it, don't do it. If it's exercise that you hate, don't do it. Do something you love. I love yoga. I love hiking in the woods. That's where I spend the majority of my time. I did it before I got on air with you two this morning. That's what lifts my energy. That's what helps me raise a vibration so I can serve. If my glass is not full, I can't give.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's that bottom line. Those are the basics too. And in breathing, yes, absolutely. We're so stressed out. We're so anxiety ridden in our society. We're so chaotic because we are believing stuff that just is not being led by media.
Yeah.
Being led by media, and it's misconstruing. It's for capitalism. As far as in the United States is concerned, it's all capitalism. It's for the big buck.
For sure. It's I'm so pleased that that you've endorsed that, because many people that I speak to that are thinking about the spiritual path just think that they have to be a bit gooey and sugary and there is a discipline there that we have to follow. And I think that is a message that was one of my sort of personal drums, that we really need to let people know, hey, you have to work. And your experience of going through all that, the troubles, eating, being bent out of shape, and then surrendering yourself to allow yourself then to come back. It's not pleasant,
No.
but it's worthwhile. And I think that's so powerful, that people, you don't get, there's nothing for nothing. You have to work it to make it work. And that's if I had to say one message from listening to you, that's it. That, we can all do it, but it's not going to be done for us.
Right. Well, we ask, and then you have to receive it, and then take it when it's offered to you. There's being raised in the church, there was a parable. I'm not religious anymore. Spirituality to me is bringing the higher power into the everyday world. Mm-hmm. And there was an old parable, I remember, that the drowning man, I don't know if you've all heard of it, but the man is standing on his rooftop and it's flooding, and he calls out for help. And God sends him a boat. And he says, it's okay. God's got me. You can go on. So the boat goes on. And then he's still praying for help. And somebody else comes by and throws him a lifeline. He goes, it's okay. Got it.
Yeah,
God's got it. Those are right. Yeah. And then a helicopter comes by, drops him a line. Take the line. It's okay. I got it. God's got it for me. And he drowns. And then he walks through the pearly gates and says to God, where were you? He goes, I sent you help 3 times. Story goes something like that, but
you got
to receive it. You got to receive it. And then when you receive it, it becomes so easy. My students say, it's so easy. I said, yes, if you just receive it, you're good enough. You're worth it. And then the miracles happen. And that's listening to your spirit guides, to me. Who they may be, and it will serve you well, and it will serve those around you well as well. So it is for the higher good. I mean, generally, people are good. Just give it a chance. Be open and receptive.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, do you have any other questions for us, perhaps, or about the society and the teachings or anything like that?
Well, it was fascinating. I think we're in alignment and agreement pretty much. And I did read a little bit about your teacher. He sounded like he had been talking to a lot of the same spirits I have been.
And truth, eh?
Yeah, truth is truth. And I think a lot of the teachers out there have brought forth this message. And I wish it could reach so many, so we can help our humanity change and transform, for us all to evolve. And I think it's happening gradually, slowly, one by one.
Exactly, one by one. And that's what we're doing. Just trying to build bridges of light, look for the similarities. We're not interested in the differences.
Right.
Because we're all one, as you've said, we're all one. Need to appreciate that. We need to get on. There's enough in the world for everybody not to be hungry, not to be, not have any clothes on their back. No, the distribution, because of selfishness and being bent out of shape, we're having to bring our best back into alignment. And then the more that does that, the more are able to. Bringing down heaven to earth is what always comes to me.
For real. Are you both teachers?
Anyway.
It sounds like you're both very much teachers as well of this practice
Passionate
as well.
students, let's put it that way. Yeah.
So we're all resonating at a similar level, obviously, or we wouldn't have been united.
Yeah.
Power 3.
Well, this has been great, Laura. So how can people keep in touch with you, learn more about you, follow you?
The fastest way is probably to look up radiomediumlauralee.com, and I broadcast every day, Monday through Friday, on a station here in the Chicagoland area, and then we're on a bunch of other community stations throughout the United States. But you can listen from just about anywhere right now online. We stream, so if you can't be in the listening area here, but people call into the radio show. And it's a little different than I think what Deborah heard on Coast to Coast, because I think Coast to Coast, I think people were asking me questions there, weren't they, Deborah? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, my lovey, because I just thought, oh, Laura Lee's on the list. That's good. And then I'm on to the next. So sorry about that.
Well, I know a lot of stations like me to answer people's questions, but on my show, I just, people just know that they're coming on and I'll just give them what I got at the moment. I just trust who's coming through and I share it with them. And sometimes it's who they expect. Sometimes it's not who they expect and what I've got to share in that few minutes. So it's kind of interesting. It's better than getting a phone call about, will he love me? Is he going to come back? Is she the one? Can you tell me the lotto numbers? I've had enough of that. If I had the lotto numbers, I don't think I'd be sitting on the radio, but but anyway, it's been a joy talking to both of you today. Thank you for your patience with me.
Thanks for your energy. Bring a real light lit up my day, that's for sure.
Thank you. It was fun.
If people want to learn more about the Aetherius Society, they can go to aetherius.org. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Jack.
Laura.
Thank you, Deborah. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye-bye.